My name is Larry Michael, and as we begin a new school year at USD 305, we'd like to welcome Lynn Exline, who is our new Superintendent of Schools. How are you, Lynn?
I'm doing great today.
To start this interview, Lynn, could you tell the people of Salina a little bit about yourself and how you came to be superintendent?
Okay. I was actually born and raised here in Salina and attended Salina Public Schools clear through my educational career. I graduated from Central High School and came back to Salina to student teach. Spent my entire educational career here in Salina, and my family is all still here, and so I'm very committed to this community. I have been in multiple different capacities while I've been employed with 305. I've been an elementary teacher, and I spent some time as an elementary school principal. Spent some time as the director of staff development and accreditation. I did some K-12 math and science curriculum work. Had a little bit of time at Central as the assistant principal. It was really fun to go back to my alma mater and be able to be the assistant principal in that building. And then was at South High as the head principal. Certainly enjoyed both of those positions. And most recently was the executive director of school improvement, teaching and learning at the district office. And then the opportunity to become superintendent presented itself, and if I could go back, there would be no hesitation. I would give an absolute resounding yes, this is what I want to do. I'm really enjoying this position.
Well, good. We're very excited to see what new initiatives and programs and leadership you can bring to the district. And having worked with you as a number of years as a school board member, I know that you'll do a great job, and I think this is a great opportunity for the district. So welcome aboard. Toward the end of my term on the school board, there was a little bit of a renewed emphasis toward career and technical education. Could you tell the community what is going on in that area in USD 305?
Absolutely. That is an area that it has just been booming of recent. And we were blessed when this community committed to the latest bond issue. And there was quite a bit of community conversation about what are the needs as far as career and technical education courses that we can offer students to fill the job market. And we did an analysis of what positions were really needed in the Salina area, Saline County area, and where could we be providing students experiences that would result in kids ending up in high demand, high pay fields, because we certainly want for them to have options when they walk out of Salina Public Schools that will present them with a fulfilling career where they can really give back. And so as part of that conversation, we identified several different career pathways that we wanted to add. And as a result of the bond issue, we now have right in our own facilities, we're offering CNA and CMA classes. Our students had always been able to go out to Salina Tech to take those courses, but our enrollment has really expanded because those courses are offered right in our facilities at Central High School. Students can walk out with the credentials that they need to actually get a job there. We also have a partnership with Salina Tech where the Salina Police Department and Salina Fire Department are coming into our building and teaching our students fire science and police science courses. And so what's really neat about that is our students can walk out with all the credentials that they need to join the local fire department with an EMT certification as well. And they can articulate, if they're on the police science side, to a post-secondary institution to finish up a criminal justice degree. So those are two programs that are new and that are facility-based. In addition, we were able to add state-of-the-art culinary arts labs. And so our students have the chance to take multiple new courses in culinary arts, and that has been very popular. Enrollment has nearly doubled in that area, which is, I think, really exciting. Some increased STEM classes. We do offer welding coursework. We offer ag coursework because in this area, that's important. And then on the welding side, we also have a partnership with Salina Tech where students can go out and take machining classes, because that's an area where there are many, many jobs available in Salina, and high paying and very much in demand in this area and across the state. So quite a few opportunities in the CTE side that, that really allow kids to explore, find areas of interest, find areas of strength, find out what doesn't work too.
You mentioned some of the vocational type courses. Do we have any partnerships with business or the community to help transition students from school to the workplace?
Absolutely, we do. We are very blessed in this community with businesses that are committed to offering the chance for kids to come in and do internships. That's something that we're wanting to extend this year. We're wanting to actually engage in a community conversation about what other kinds of internships could we be doing, what other kind of partnerships could we be doing. We have students that are out, many students out in the medical community. That is one of the highest interest areas of our students when we start looking at the 8th grade assessments that they're taking. And when I say assessments, it's really career interest inventory, knowing yourself kind of assessments. So many internships and job shadowing experiences in the health science field, and quite a few partners there. So we've really expanded that, and I feel this community has been overwhelmingly positive and supportive of giving kids opportunities to be out in the workforce. Education is another place where we do quite a bit of that. You would think that that would all be done within 305, but it's not. We have some community partners on the early childhood side that allow students to explore in that arena too. So.
Very interesting. Now, a different track would be the students who are wanting to go to post-secondary education. Are there any new initiatives or programs or approaches in that area?
Absolutely. You know, what we know is that 71% of our students are going to need some kind of post-secondary education when they leave our schools to enter the job market. And we know that about half of those will need some kind of 2-year or credential level education. And we know about half of them will need a 4-year degree of some sort. And so we really are focused on both of those because it really is important for us to make sure that doors are open for all kids when they leave our institutions. So on the side for students who are wanting to go on to a 4-year institution, we have engaged in multiple opportunities for dual and concurrent credit. Students can walk out with with an English Lit college credit. They can walk out with college algebra. They can walk out with a trig credit. We have a partnership with the K-State Polytechnic where there are numerous elective opportunities. UAS is an area where they really are well known for, and so our students can go out and can take electives in sociology and UAS and in the different areas. And we've just partnered with them to make that available where the student can earn high school credit and college credit at the same time. So we have that on both core credits and on elective credits. And then in addition, we have several classes that are taught right in our school that are a dual credit class where students can take, for instance, English 4. Our students can take English 4 and they can earn 2 college credits through a post-secondary institution as part of doing that, 2 college courses, so 6 credits from that one class. Algebra 2 Trig is another one where students can earn college credit by taking our class right in our schools. And so many opportunities like that for students, and we're expanding those all of the time.
Very good. One of the new initiatives that has arisen the last couple of years is the Equity Council. Can you tell the folks in Salina what the Equity Council is and how it came about and what its purpose is?
One of the things that is really important to us is meeting the needs of all students and making sure that students feel they have a strong connection with the school, with the adults in the school, and with the other students in the school. And making sure that we are having equitable practices to meet student needs. So we have an equity council that is actually, this year it's been really fun because I've had my first 2 meetings with them. I have my next meeting with them this week. But we're exploring training opportunities for our staff to become more knowledgeable about practices that we can put in place to make our environment better for all students. One of the things that the Equity Council did last year that I think was so positive is they did a survey of staff and students, and it was middle school and high school students, trying to identify what are some areas that we maybe could focus on as staff that could make schools more welcoming, better for all kids. And one of the areas that came out was making sure that we have that one-on-one relationship. And we know how important that is. And so our very first meeting this year, we talked about some training opportunities. And so right now, our Equity Council is engaged in experiencing the actual training opportunities and then giving us feedback. Is this something that we should be using with all of our staff? Is this something we should be recommending to our building principals? And that's part of what they're doing this year. So we're learning together, and I think that's very positive. One of the other things that we are going to be doing is really starting to analyze some student data, looking at where do we have students who are not being as successful as we would like, and then having them look at that with kind of an outside set of eyes to say, you know what, you might want to dig in a little bit more here and find out what's happening and why learning isn't maybe where we want it to be, why discipline isn't maybe where we would want it to be, why school attendance. And so trying to be very proactive in meeting needs like that. I think it is a great group. They're highly committed. And the amount of time that they're willing to spend helping us is pretty powerful.
Can you tell us or give us an example of some of the backgrounds of people that are on the Equity Council? What type of people that are serving?
Yeah, we have a very diverse group. Of course, we do have some representatives from our schools. We have some students. We tried to get a broad spectrum of representation from around the community, representing different demographic groups, representing different age students, representing people that maybe don't have students in school. Some of our members are single mothers, some of them are from 2-parent families, some of them are, they maybe are married or are in a relationship married to someone who is of another race. Some of them have children that are biracial. Some of them have college education, some of them have high school education. So what's really neat about it is when we get together, just the depth of different experience that comes and the different lens that we look at issues through, and the way the conversation goes. And I just am so impressed with the respect for each other in that room and just the willingness to try to unfold what exactly is happening here and how can we help.
Is the Equity Council, does it have a specific lifetime, or is it something that you see going on indefinitely?
I see this going on indefinitely. I think that there is always room for growth. And I think that we have some challenging situations that kids encounter each day that make our jobs a challenge. It makes our jobs fun. It creates a situation where we really have to understand people who are different from us. And so I think that having a council like that to look at things through just a very unbiased lens and give recommendations of, you know what, you might want to attend to this a little bit. I think that's a very healthy thing. And I think what the council does may evolve over time. But I certainly see value in having that kind of diverse group helping.
Very good. This is definitely a good example of how the community can be involved with the school. And earlier you mentioned about on the career education.
Right.
What are some other ways that the community can get involved with the schools if someone would like to be more involved with USD 305?
Oh boy, there are so many opportunities. We have over 650 volunteers every year. and countless people that probably aren't in that count that are helping us. At the elementary schools, a lot of times there are opportunities for people to volunteer actually in the classroom, maybe listening to a child read, maybe helping with a center. When you have 15 to 20 kindergartners, having somebody to help with a center where students are doing maybe a project that is focused on fine motor skills, that really is helpful for the teacher while he or she is working in a reading group situation. So lots of opportunities like that. Many opportunities to do assisting kinds of things, preparing materials. If you know elementary teachers, the amount of laminating materials for durability that they do and helping prepare those things for individual students, opportunities like that. We have volunteers that help with our marathons. If you call a school or you call the district office, we can hook you up with ways that you can assist students. We're always looking for people that are willing to have students come and businesses that are willing to have students come and do internships. So, if you're in a field where you really think that there are students that would be interested in coming and observing, that would be another great way to volunteer. And it's not in the classroom, but maybe the outreach piece. So many, many opportunities. And we welcome, like I said, 650 people that help us. And we couldn't do what we do without our volunteers that are there on a daily basis.
Does USD 305 have a volunteer coordinator or someone that if someone would like to become involved, they can contact?
Right. What they should do is call our district office number 309-4700. And the district office person that answers the phone can help direct them to exactly what they need to do, because some of that depends on what role that they're wanting to play. So, but that number, 309-4700, is the best way to get in contact for us to be able to say, what strengths do you bring to the table? Okay, here would be a good place to fit, and then to kind of guide that from there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. On a more somber note, shifting gears a little bit, once again, the last couple of weeks we've been hit with news about mass shootings and violence. And I know over the last few years there's been a real push by USD 305 to assure student safety and security. Can you describe for the community what the district is doing to assure the safety of the students?
Absolutely. Student safety is always a primary focus for us. That's a primary concern. Kids aren't going to learn if they don't feel safe. And we certainly want for our parents and families to feel good about where their kids are going each day and that safety piece. And it really is scary when you look at things that are happening across the nation. And so making sure that we are ready and that we are as well prepared as we possibly can to care for children is, of course, number one in what we do each day. So we have, as part of that bond issue, and again, thank you to the Salina community, as part of that bond issue, we were able to have secured entrances at every single building. And so visitors, whether it's a parent or a patron or whoever might come into the building, they funnel through that main office area. That allows us to greet them, to assist them and make sure that they get to where it is that they need to get. But it also adds that additional security of, we know who's in the building and who has access to students. We also have all the exterior doors on the building are locked. We have key card access, and so we're able to track who is in and out of the buildings through those locked doors because they're scanned as our own faculty and staff come in and out. And then in addition, we've been able to add cameras. And at some of our buildings, we have multiple cameras, both internal and external, but at every building, we at least have cameras at that entryway to make sure that we know, who is approaching the building. I think the biggest thing when you think school safety and security is that relationship piece that we talked about earlier, and making sure that there's kind of that soft place to land where I have somebody that if I hear something, if I'm concerned about something, I can say something, and making sure that we have those relationships with students so that if there is a concern, it comes to our attention in a way that we can address it before it becomes a real issue. And so, we've really focused on community building in our classrooms, and building relationships between faculty and kids, and also between other staff members and students, and between students, because all of those relationships are critical. On the safety and security side, one other thing that's, I think, interesting is the state has certain drills that we are expected to do. And in those drills, each year we have crisis drills, and that might be something like a gas leak. And practicing for, if there's a gas leak, what do we do? If there's a tornado, what do we do? If there's a fire, and you and I, when we were in school, we did the tornado and fire drills. But we've expanded that to be other things as well, because it's important for students to have practiced those so that we can go a little bit from memory in an emergency situation, and have at least thought through what we might do. Another thing that is different since probably you were on the board is that we've started to focus on ALICE training, and all of our staff is trained in ALICE, and that is a system where you actually talk about what's the best course of action given the information that you need. It used to be that we would train that when the fire alarm went off, we exit the building. Well, we still train that, but we might set up a fake fire in the hallway so that we have to think, what do we do differently in this situation? And so with that ALICE training, it really is this emergency preparedness. How do we respond if somebody's in the building that we don't know? What is so that kids are telling an adult, hey, I saw somebody in the building that I don't know. And that just allows us to keep everybody safer. And so I think that those drills that we do, the conversations that we engage in, that relationship building, that really is the key.
One of the relationships I know from when my kids were at Central was with the resource officer. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what resource officers are and what that program is? Absolutely.
We actually have 3.5 resource officers this year, which is fabulous, because in the past, 4 is considered what we would want to be full capacity. And we were able to add another half-time SRO this year. The other half-time, that SRO is actually teaching our students in our police science coursework. And so some neat relationships being built there. But we have a full-time SRO at the 2 high schools, and then the other SRO and a half are between those 2 middle schools. The real goal there is that relationship building piece again. They become kind of part of the faculty, if you will. This morning I was out at Sunset Elementary School, and they were doing their little marathon, and 3 of our SROs were over there visiting with the kids and handing out the police department patches, and so it's all about making people that are in uniform more approachable, so that we see them as a partner for safety rather than something scary. And so a lot of relationship building at the high schools as well, in and out of classrooms. They sponsor the SAFE Club, which is a driver safety seatbelt club. And so much interaction like that, again, trying to focus on building relationships so that when there are issues, we see each other as partners.
During the majority of the time that I was on the Board of Education, we were under No Child Left Behind, and then that was followed by Common Core, and there was a lot of misconceptions about exactly what Common Core was, but right. Could you explain for the public how the schools are accredited and what the state looks for and evaluates in the local schools?
Sure, that has really shifted. Not too long ago, what was what was looked at when accreditation happened was simply Kansas assessment scores. Did you or did you not have high enough Kansas assessment scores? Graduation rate was always considered, and then attendance rate. But of recent, the shift that has happened is trying to focus on this broader picture of what does it mean to have kids really ready for post-secondary success. And so there are really 5 indicators now that the state's looking at when it comes to accreditation. They want to know, are kids ready when they come to kindergarten for the schooling experience? So we measure kindergarten readiness the first 2 days of school. And one of the things that needs to happen is we need to really be doing a good job of partnering with our early childhood providers in this community to make sure that we have opportunities for kids prior to kindergarten. So kindergarten readiness is one. The individual plan of study is one. And that is simply a plan that begins in 8th grade where we try to help the students get to know who they are, what their strengths are, what really brings them fulfillment so that they can start to explore coursework that makes sense for what they want to do post-secondary wise. It's meant to open doors. We would never ask a student to decide what they want to be in 8th grade or 9th grade or 10th grade. Sometimes it's more important to find out what they don't want to be. And so that individual plan of study is one thing. Graduation rate is another, and that's just kind of something that we've always focused on. Social emotional learning is another piece that is critical that they're measuring. And then the final is post-secondary success. We're held accountable for what kids do 2 years out of high school. And so making sure that our kids walk across the stage with a good plan and are ready to encounter whatever it is that life holds for them at post-high school.
How are the 2 years post-high school, how is that data collected or evaluated?
Yeah. There is actually an organization called the National Student Clearinghouse. And the National Student Clearinghouse collects data from post-secondary institutions. And what the state of Kansas is looking at is, do our students 2 years out either have an industry-recognized credential, or are our students enrolled in some kind of post-secondary education? And what they want, like I referred to earlier, is that at least 71% of our students, one of those 2 things is true. Because we know that in order to have the workforce that we need, and in order for our kids to have the employment opportunities that they need, that they're going to need, 71% will need some kind of post-secondary education. And so we track, while kids are in high school, the kinds of credentials they earn. So if we have a student that finishes their EMT, or if they finish their CNA, or if they get some kind of welding certification, we track those while they're in high school and report them to the state. And then the state also looks at that National Student Clearinghouse data. So.
I think we only have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was we have school board elections coming up in November. Do you have anything you'd like to share about that?
You know, we have 4 positions that are open, and I have been very blessed to have the school board that we have right now as I transition into this position. We have a very strong school board. The leadership and the vision that they provide for the district, the policy setting is critical. And so for us to all be headed in the same direction, we really need a high-quality school board. It helps for us to have that point of view from people that are not in the classroom every single day. And so, you know, having that strong school board like we have right now is so important. So what I would say is get out and vote. We have 7 candidates. We have 4 positions that are open. And what a powerful way to make a difference. And I so appreciate the willingness of the people who have chosen to run, and those of you that have done that in the past, because what an impact on our kids and on our community that kind of service provides.
With the few seconds we have left, do you have a specific praise that you'd like to share with the community, something that's happened so far this year that you'd like to point out or share?
You know, we had a fabulous enrollment process. We've gone to all online enrollment, and then we do have a day of walk-in enrollment. That was very positive this year. Our first day of school, the back to school opportunities that we had for Meet the Teacher were so positive. I got out to multiple opportunities like that. I am just so incredibly proud of what our teachers do every day, and the time that they are willing to commit, both inside and outside the classroom, the extracurricular, co-curricular opportunities. And what I would encourage is that we promote every student getting involved in something outside of the classroom that's connected to school, because that makes such a difference with school success.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you very much,
absolutely.
Lynn. This has been very interesting, and I'm sure the community will really enjoy hearing your thoughts.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Thank you, and everyone have a good day.